Conversations with halos is kind of tilted. The foundation is strong because Jehovah built it. You can feel the spirit and positive energy. Questions asked comfortably like you're talking with family. Get ready to settle in. Wait for the show to begin. Invite a couple of friends. It's time for Unhinged.
Introduce to you Get You Home Towing, a family company with the sole purpose to get you home. Whether you need roadside assistance or transport services, we have a flatbed big enough to transport any vehicle to its destination. Our offer to you is our gratitude and great service at a much cheaper price. We are also open to transport through long distances. If you need us, all you have to do is call that number. I'll see you soon.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. You are tuned into Unhinged Live R2K. That's right. Y'all know I will brand any and everything I possibly can. So, of course, we are introducing yet another show within the platform on tonight featuring the coaches in the tribe. Of course, y'all already know who I am Nikita Tilted Halo Hansford, also known as Coach Keita to some. And I'm sitting alongside one of my very good girlfriends, Mrs. Rhonda Thomas Booth of BB Mind Over Matter LLC. She is our mindfulness mental health coach in the tribe. And of course, we are going to be joined in a very, very little while by Coach Cash herself. She's actually doing some business travel, but y'all already know we are after every zip code and area code that we could possibly have access to. And even on the move, we can do our show on the go. So before we get into tonight's rundown, I want to go ahead and say, Rhonda,
yes,
doing.
It's a week. It's been a week. It's been a week, Nikita, Coach. It's been a week. Long. It feels long. Feels like a long. Even though we had 2 holidays in between the week, 2 holidays. Yeah, it feels It feels short. But somehow it felt like a long week, a week that would not end.
This is the week that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Somebody started living it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue living it forever just because. Let me stop. Y'all know I'm mad silly.
I know you find a song for every.
Y'all know I'm a song. I'm a walking music catalog. All right. So yeah, Rhonda, I saw you were out there burning down some runways this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us about the event you participated in, please?
Yes. A young lady, forgive me, her first name is if I got it right, but I know her as Peaches. And Asante Art Gallery in Palmer Mall was celebrating their 1-year anniversary. I remember when I stumbled across the art gallery, I was like blown away because the art, the jewelry, everything that she had in her shop was just beautiful. And they celebrated their 1-year anniversary with a fashion show, art show / fashion show. And it was absolutely amazing. She did such a fantastic job. This young lady, I know she's coming out of a rough 13 years or 16 years abusive relationship. And she is putting herself together, and to have a fashion show, the way she brought everybody together, and it went smooth. It was a real fashion show, and I had a blast. I really do. You know, I'm always the oldest in the crowd. Probably not always, but I was around the young people, and it was nice. I mean, like, I felt really good. Um, there was nothing that I worn that I felt uncomfortable in. Everything was just perfect. I've never rocked before, but it's always the first time for everything.
Well, you looked amazing, my friend. And honey, let me tell you something. They be needing some of our auntie wisdom in some of these fashion shows in those dressing rooms behind the scenes, because we carry a different brand of light than
Yeah,
many of the young people we tend to associate with when we go out and participate in these fashionable events. And I believe
yeah.
what is it, Parthenia?
Yes, I think it's Parthenia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I think it's Parthenia. I think that's her name. And she's
Yes,
Jamaican. She's
yes.
Jamaican. And I tell you, she really did a really good job. She came in, gave us her pep talk, and the younger people who were there, like, you guys are professionals, you know how to do this. And she was really good. She told the audience at the end that, well, the guests that were there at the end, that she was very nervous, but I didn't get that from her because she's in the element where she turned that fear into, like, confidence. She was so confident what she was doing, and she looked great too. But she's a really awesome person to impact the models backstage. We had kids. We actually had kids. It started off with kids, and some of the kids were questioning each other. Are you scared? Are you going to cry? And so those was like, you look great. You'll be perfect. You'll be fine. They were, talking to the kids. And I think one of the models that was there, she was older, old young girl, and her dad asked one of the other models, the older models, if she can follow her, um, to just um, to just have like a mentor. And I thought that that was really awesome because we was modeling his sweatsuits, and he asked this young lady to mentor his daughter. And to me, that put a smile on my heart, because in the room, and she's looking up to all of us, and for the father to step out of his comfort zone to ask this young lady to mentor his daughter within the modeling was really good, because you don't see that, because it's like
Mhm.
they own, and mental confidence is built up from other people encouraging you and like cheering for you, not looking at you like, oh, you wore that, I'm gonna wear this, like all that tension. There was none of that. The kids all supporting. They were high-fiving when they come off. It's like, you killed it, you rocked that. And these young kids, and I'm like, wow. All the confidence that they showed over on, it was great. It was really, really good. And like I said, it brought me joy to see the connection between the young models, the kids, and then us, the older. They were watching out for the kids, and then the kids came back and was like, oh, that's dressed, that's nice, complimenting everybody. It was a really nice evening. I'm so happy that my family came out. My daughter, my sister, niece was there, my friends were there. It was really nice for all the support.
Yes, yes. And what you described is basically what we are all about here at Unhinged Live. Each one, reach one,
Each
and
one.
teach one. Because
Yes.
how else can we impact the future if we don't, start putting in that work now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We are Unhinged Live R2K. We got Rhonda and 2Ks. Keita and Karen at the helm on tonight. And we just wanted to do a little something different this evening because we're coming out of a presidential election that was
Yep.
held on last week. And so many people have been stuck, for
Yeah.
lack of better words, and they're not, really understanding how they can express themselves in a safe
Exactly.
space. It's like they don't necessarily know that it's okay to turn off the TV so you don't go into sensory overload. But
Exactly.
before we get into all of that, I want to go ahead and say thank you and for joining us to all of you who will join us on replay. And for those of you who are tuning in tonight, like I said, we're going to do a little something different tonight. We are going to have a guest tonight. She should be here any minute. Then we are also going to hear from our guest first, of course, about herself. And I look forward to her sticking around, offering her youthful perspective to this conversation, because y'all already know I appreciate the voice of the youth. Again, they are our future. And, I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, Rhonda. This your baby.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I got to put it
Should
out
I be
there.
scared? Should I be scared? Oh,
Don't be scared. I'm gonna treat your child right. Y'all listen, we've got you could beat me up live. You know how we do.
yes, you know.
If I mispronounce the child's name, it's Eliana.
Aliana.
Aliana. See what I'm saying? I said Ailey, like Alvin Ailey, the dancer. But maybe it's because her spirit brings me joy. I did send the note out in an email with her invitation to tonight's conversation, letting her know I've just been watching from afar like a very proud auntie, and her voice absolutely matters in this conversation. I see you, Emily, in the comment section. God bless you too, beautiful. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you stick around. What we're looking to do is offer a safe space to have this conversation on tonight. Of course, we are ladies of class and distinction. So all we do ask is if y'all use your adult words tonight. Because we got us a perfect record over here. We ain't had no violations from the YouTube or the Facebook, and we would like to keep it that way. But again, there's a purpose to all of this, though we may not necessarily understand in this moment in time. Y'all know my life coach certification is in purpose specifically. Yes. And when certain things happen, I often pray. I talk to God, and because I'm seeking why. Okay.
Like you should.
Why is this happening, and what are you trying to bring out of me? Because I practice the mirror work every single day of my life. The only person I'm in competition with is me. How can I present as a better version of myself? And with all of the mudslinging, the defamation, and so have you during these last few months, I'm one of those people who is very keen on protecting my ear gates and my eye gates from what I allow into my spirit, because though I might seem like an intelligent thug, I'm quite sensitive.
Very good.
I thought for Jesus. But I am very sensitive to certain levels of negative energy, because when you've had an encounter with God, the way I often encounter him, you develop a heart for humanity that you know when you see certain things, when you hear certain things, I can imagine God's heart is crying.
Exactly.
When he has to see and hear what's going on with his wonderful creations, the ones that he created just a little lower than the angels. That's us, humankind. So what is the purpose in all of this? Because just like a test, shout out to MC Light, I crammed to understand, where do we go from here? We see numbers of different people from all walks of life taking their stand boldly out loud on varying social media platforms. And it's unfortunate that I've seen people lose friendships, lose family members.
Family members, that's hurtful.
Very hurtful. And basically creating their own traumas because of something that, from my faith perspective, and this is my personal faith perspective, from something that is temporary.
Yes.
For something that is very temporary. And I hate to say it this way, but for so many of us, a lot of these things don't even affect us because we ain't in the right tax bracket. How about that?
Right.
So, wait a minute. I'm looking outside the window, child. I see a shadow. Wait, I ain't even see a shadow. What is that? It's dark out there. I can't see nothing but the little floodlight. And it looks like we got a guest that's here. She done rang the doorbell and we got to let her in. She leaning on it. It's cold out there, baby. We gonna let you in real quick. All right?
The young folks, them. Don't patience. The young folks.
That's because she out there on that porch with that little Sheen jacket on. She knows
Right.
better. You know she cold. But in any event, we are going to get into this conversation. But before we do, again, y'all already know I let the cat out the bag. And listen, this young game changer right here. Okay, she done bounced. She done took herself off screen. I guess she's going to get her something. But I'm gonna talk about her, and I hope she can hear me. I've been watching her for the duration of her college career, and even before then, in speaking with you, Rhonda, I hear how she incites your creativity.
Yes.
Her own power of suggestion. And then I get to see this baby go on off to college. Next thing you know, she's out here creating graphs and maps and geological studies. Listen, I'm gonna let her talk to y'all herself. Can you introduce your baby tonight, Miss Rhonda?
Well, this is my daughter, Aliana Booth, and she's currently a graduate student. I'm not going to say where.
Just the internet. We don't know them like that.
Right.
How are you tonight, beautiful?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right. I do hear a bit of an echo.
Oh, let me see if it's me.
All right.
Hello.
All right. It was you, Mama. So, Eliana, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And what it was like for you growing up here in North
So I was born in the Bronx, but then at like a really young age, like we moved to New Jersey. So at that point, it was different, the like vibes of being near the city versus coming to the suburbs. But then in coming to the suburbs and growing up in Warren County, I got involved with Girl Scouts, which led me to learn more about like the environment, and get interested in like honeybees and like environmental protection. So then that kind of spiraled into how I ended up in college studying urban ecology, getting interested in sustainability, and then just everything else that falls into place after that.
Okay, so you said urban ecology. I'm slow, so you educated me and a lot of people in our listening audience tonight. Can you tell us what the heart of urban ecology is?
Yes. So urban ecology is essentially really small. It's biology, environmental science, and social sciences all combined into one, but more, I guess, technical. It's the study of living things and their interactions with their environment, humans in urban settings.
Thank you for breaking that down. Yes, Miroslav. I do too hear that echo, and I'm trying to resolve it on this end. But welcome to the room. So, Rhonda.
Yes.
Go ahead and ask Miss Lady a question.
But the thing I wanted to say to her is that she was the only African American in a lot of classes. I don't know how it affected her mentally, but I know it did. So my question for you is, I know that I put you in a lot of programs to keep you busy, But do you think having all those programs help you deal with being, different in different situations? Here's the African American young girl out. She's here, cookie booths. She's doing public speaking. She's the only one that looks like her in groups that don't look like her. So how did you manage that?
Um, so overall, I really appreciated like having the privilege to be a part of different groups and be involved in different things. Being the only like black person or like black girl didn't really hit me until I got to college. Cause like my campus is diverse, but then still in biology, because I'm in the biology department, it was a lot of time I'm the only like black girl in the class. Or like when it's more environmental related, I was definitely the only black girl. So being in different groups, I kind of like in organizations growing up, it helped my mental health in the sense that like I could better understand like the possibilities of like what I could do with my future. It was definitely more of school that negatively like affected my mental health and like other things. The programs I got to be a part of were like a positive aspect to my life and kind of just like I guess distracted me. But being the only black girl, it kind of more of motivates me to like not give up on what I'm doing because I would like to show like other black or like colored individuals that like you're allowed to be in like environmental related spaces and fields.
My other question for you is, like, I know you started college during the pandemic, and that had to be really because you're leaving home. Although you did leave home, I think having all the programs that you went through in your middle school and high school years probably helped you with coping that first year college. First year college is supposed to be your, introduction to being away from home and whatnot. But during, I know it's very hard for you. How did you cope during the pandemic, and right are you coping now with going through all the changes and abilities that you have now?
I think with the pandemic, I more of experienced like that stunting that I think a lot of young people got, which is like I kind of still feel like I'm 17, just because that's when it happened, and that was like a very pivotal point in my life. Like I was supposed to experience all of the senior activities and go to prom. Like so, there were certain things I was supposed to check off, and I didn't get to check those things off. So then going into college, it was very much just trying to find a new normal, which was still kind of difficult because I'm very much like a rule follower. So when they said that I can't go into somebody else's room, I didn't. I was lucky that I had a suite mate. So me and my suite mate would hang out and talk, and that was kind of like the social aspect. I still because being busy, is just very much a part of who I am, and that was, like, my normal in high school. I got busy immediately when I got to college, so then I did get to, like, meet different people, and even though at the time we still had to be careful about how we would meet up and interact, and hang out, by the time that, like, all the restrictions were lifting, we got to hang out more. So I think getting involved on campus really helped me with it not being too isolating of an experience during the pandemic. Like, I still socialize. Kind of now, it is, like, interesting because now it's like, okay, maintaining, those friendships and different relationships that I have, so it's like a new aspect, of learning and continuing to, like, grow socially after the pandemic.
And I have another question for you because I think this is your second time voting. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is your second time voting. And how would you, I know as a family we went together to vote, what would your expectations, and how do you feel now that we have the results?
So, in terms of the results, it was a pretty funny experience for me because I don't have social media except for like one app, and that's YouTube. So, I was kind of out of the loop at that point. I didn't even really know who was elected. I let my friends tell me and like break any sort of news to me, instead of it being from like media. And even with that, expectations wise, I will honestly say it was low because I was like watching videos and I could see how different people found different things in each of the candidates. So I knew it wasn't going to be like an easy this person would win or this other candidate would win. So I had low expectations because I was being a realist, like people were going to vote for it was going to be really close. And now with what happened and like who's elected, I'm trying to be hopeful and have shifted to just wanting to be supportive to the people that I can be supportive of. If there's like rallies or like protests that I demonstrations that I would have the time to attend and I would want to just promote protecting people's rights and like the quality of life for Americans. I see the future, the next 4 years that it's really not about like parties. It's very much about like America being a community in a village that takes care of each other. So it's more focused on like how are these policies that may or may not be enacted, like how that benefits and protects people, and supports them and their livelihoods. So that's kind of how I'm shifting towards.
And I just knew
I
you would
just
be
knew
the
you would be
perfect
the
one
perfect one
for this
for this
conversation, my dear.
conversation, Lucky.
Thank you for such an eloquent response to your mom's question. Because my concern, and again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna have a lot of stuff going on, but thank you for joining us tonight, sharing your perspective. I too am a realist, and I have been on a digital detox for at least the last 3 months because I refuse to get sucked in to what mass media was propagating to the public at large. And I decided to take it to the throne of grace in prayer because that's what I do. I get my answers in my direction from God in prayer. And I voted the way I felt led to vote. But I've been encountering, and so many people have reached out to me in the meantime because they know I'm a safe place to just express themselves. And it's just like, wow, there are so many people walking around hurting. There are so many people uncertain about the future. So thank you for hanging out with us. I see that we have another one of the tribe members that popped in to the group. And this is our girl Soleil. I'm going to pull her up on stage. Hey,
Hi,
girlfriend.
everybody. Can you hear me good?
We hear you.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Great conversation, So I love it. You're so smart and intelligent, and that is what we need in this world because it's the future. And you, young lady, are the future. Thank you for that. Thank you for inspiring me and putting a fire. Because I was feeling, frankly, I was feeling a little bit like not hopeless because that's not me,
Yeah.
but I was feeling a little down, like, oh my goodness, we got to go through all this. But the
It's
way you
hope.
put it, yeah, the way you put it, it's excellent. It gives us something to think about besides, being so upset or angry that, we didn't get what we wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
So
hope.
thank
It's
you.
hope. And
hmm That's all.
we
That's
have a
all
lot of
that,
hope.
All that.
All right. Look, I'm putting everybody on mute for a moment.
Okay.
And we're going to implement the use of the church finger. Because I'm back here like it's Pac-Man, making sure that we kill that echo that keeps happening. Okay. So yes, see what the power of your voice in 5 minutes, baby girl. 5 minutes, you inspired someone to go ahead and change their thought pattern. So I brought you on, Marisol, because we've all seen the statistics that have been presented to us in the aftermath and some of the information that's still forthcoming after the election. And, I was talking to Rhonda a little bit off air, and it was like, wow, I don't think people really thought it out when they casted their vote the way they did, because I don't know, what was it, something like the magic bubble covered them in that moment, and they thought that their vote, they would be exempt from the ramifications because they're a good person. We've known throughout history that the people that we've identified in many of our communities as good trouble don't always turn out well. Shout out to the late Martin Luther King. Shout out to the late Malcolm X. Shout out to so many others that have gone before us trying to lift their voice and speak against the many injustices people of color have had to endure for centuries in this country. So Marisol, my beautiful Latina princess, I want to know how you're feeling about what's going on and how this has impacted your family.
So I'm going to say this. I have to be clear about one thing. So I love to be grouped with all my Latina women, and I love them and everything like that. But I have to say that I had to look at within, because I couldn't understand how they were voting to take away, to tear down versus to lift up. So I said to myself, how am I going to separate? How do I separate myself from all that craziness? Because I have friends that voted for the other side. And well, I don't even want to say the other side. I want to say they voted differently than what I voted. So let's make that clear. His side, your side. I think that sometimes what happens in our community, believe it or not, it's a language barrier and an understanding. Like they're not comprehending. Maybe things really do get lost in translation, because I don't understand how that happened. I'm going to say this. I'm Puerto Rican. My heritage is from the island itself. I am not Latina. Latina is from Latin America. I am Hispanic. I come from Puerto Rico and bloodline from Spain and Taino ancestry. So I will tell you this. I love my Latina women, but I am not in the same category. I am not from Latin America. So they voted how they voted, and I voted how I voted. I can't do anything but accept who I am. And this is me, this is who I am. And so I carried myself all this time going along with the Latina verbiage. And I said to myself, why am I so conflicted on this? Why am I so conflicted? And I did research and research and research, and I am not Latina. I am Hispanic from Puerto Rico, from Taino industry, ancestry, and from Spain. So once I got that together, I said, okay, this is how I feel, and I can't have any ill will towards people. It is what it is. I just have to reevaluate those relationships. It's very hard. It's very hard right now, I think, because I feel like if you voted for the opposite, what does that say about our relationship? Like, I don't know. My son is from the LGBT community, and I feel that all the stuff that's gonna come might harm him in a bad way. Not even like, oh, they might just take away this or they might take away that. They might, it's a scary place right now. So with that, I say to myself, well, how could somebody vote like that? And I have to just chalk some of it up to pure ignorance and really a language communication type barrier. I don't understand how immigrants voted that way. I don't understand how my Puerto Ricans, my people, I don't understand how they voted that way. And I don't think I will ever understand that. I just have to let it go, let God, because I believe in God. So let it go, let God. Who knows what's gonna happen? We don't know. All I do know is that I have to probably reevaluate a couple of things. How much time do I want to spend with a person that believes that way? Maybe not too much, because when I was looking at the candidates versus the people that voted that way, what I realized that they had in common was the misery. So I said, this person that I know behaves this way or has this stuff going on, and so does that candidate. Do I want to hang out with that person? Do I want to? I don't know. It's in the air right now. I'm praying about it, and it's gonna have to be God led, wherever he, even if I don't like it, I will follow and I will obey, because that's I followed my spirit, my dreams, I follow that. But I can't, the only excuse or the only logical explanation for that is ignorance and lack of communication, some type of language barrier or something, because I just don't understand it. There was no policies, there was concepts about, but I'm going to tell you this. While they were busy in the background lobbying for people to change districts and hack systems and all that other stuff, we should have been busy in the background doing things as well, like a little bit more aggressive, I think, but there's so much to unpack that we could talk about this for the next 8 years, because listen, he already won. That's there. It's already there. It's like what you said. We have to prepare for whatever's coming and kind of like change the mindset of what we're gonna do. But what happens after he leaves the 4 years? Now you have that other person in there that's young, so we got a fight ahead of us. We really do have a fight ahead of us, and figure out how we're gonna do with this whole voting thing, and it's just a lot. I'll tell you this, I did go ahead and sign up for a free political class. It's a 12-hour course. So I did sign up because, knowledge is power. And I'm trying to get knowledgeable, because you might see me up in there causing good trouble. That's what I got to say.
That's it. And we are all about the good trouble. We are Good Trouble Nation here at Unhinged Live. Thank you so much for sharing tonight, Marisol. I know for me personally, I'm just like, look, don't bring no drama over here, because at the end of the day, I'm looking for the purpose and how it can impact my life and the lives of those closest to me, all my friends and loved ones. And, my mind's eye went back, right, to the first president, his first sitting, right? And what was going on during the pandemic. We were all locked in the house. And you just gave me the perfect segue, Marisol. Knowledge is power. So while the world was locked down and people were spending that stimmy on seafood balls and fireworks, sis was sitting in the house paying for classes to equip myself for the future. And one thing that I took the liberty of doing back then was I wanted to learn how to trade options on the stock market. So sis took a class. I found purpose in being stuck in the house. Even now, I see some of this crypto that I'm grateful that I did not sell. Baby, I'm in major profit right now. Sis is happy. So there is a purpose. You can't have dark without light. You can't have good without evil. It's all about balance, right? So I want to go ahead and segue this conversation over back to you, Miss Mental Health and Wellness, because you, Miss Rhonda, posted some great information to bring comfort to people right after the election. And I want to go ahead and give you the floor, sis, to go ahead and encourage our listeners and our viewers with what we have to share on tonight. I'm go ahead and mute myself. You let me know which slide you need me to post up for you, or if you even need me to post those slides up. And of course, you can engage us in a little bit of Q&A.
And information overload. We can tackle that one first
All right.
because you're still going to get information. People are still going to be talking, families, because we have like Thanksgiving is coming up. So what happens at the dinner table? We're all talking about what's really going on. We're talking about the elections will come up again. And one of the things I found interesting with this is that we set boundaries first and foremost. If you don't want to talk about the election, don't talk about it. Excuse yourself. There's nothing wrong with protecting your boundaries. And I think we live in a world where there's no boundaries. People can say and do what, and it shouldn't matter, but it does matter to the receiver. So protect your boundary first. And like my daughter said, what Marisol said, what you also said, Nikita, is focus on what matters. What really matters. When you remove all the anger and all calling and the separation, we people have health issues, they have financial issues, and here we are in about something that has already happened. So right now, focus on the next 4 years, the next 2 years, next year. Focus on really what really matters in your family. And sometimes we need to stop and take a break. There's nothing wrong with and saying, I just don't want to deal with any of this anymore. I'm just going to remove myself. And when I'm ready, I can revisit a relationship or a friendship, or, just today, I don't want to talk. I just don't want to talk today. And I think a lot of people themselves, like your friend tells you that my mental health right now is not stable. I don't want to talk about it. I want to text, no more social media. I just want to remove myself from all that. And it should be okay. It should be okay for you to take a break. So my favorite of all time is always self-care. Always think about yourself first. And whenever I'm talking, I refer to when you're on an airplane. What do you do first? You have to put on your mask first before you help anyone else. So in anything that you do, you always have to practice self-care for you first, mentally, physically. You're number one. Self-care, then you can come out and you can talk to whoever you want to talk. You can revisit relationships. Number one, your self-care. The elections has thrown a lot of family and friends into like enemies that you've known many years because you saw the flag on the lawn now, and now you're like you anymore, or they look at you different. And I know it affected a lot of people. This really affected a lot of people. A lot of friendships were questioned because how could you? Why would you? Questions come around are playing in your head, and now you have to judge another person based on things that they're on policies that they're going to follow. And I think I was up late night and heard somebody saying, well, I voted for this, but I am this type of person, but I only voted for that. And how can you separate from one or the other? So to me, when you see that, you have to decide where you, and don't make anyone make a decision for you. Separate yourself. It's okay. And I think the next slide after, Yes, and I like this because it tells you how to cope with the anxiety after. Because, like Ali said, like Marcel said, we have groups of people now that are fearful. Was an immigrant? Oh, now let's start there. I was an illegal immigrant first and foremost, and the fear that you have, knowing that any day you by ICE, it your anxiety is through the roof. You're scared. The fear in you is unbelievable. I didn't have a family at that time. I didn't have anyone. So you can imagine families, how they're going to be affected by this. So sometimes you say it doesn't affect me, but your babysitter, is that your child's teacher? Is that the is that the housekeeper? All these people, it's a tumble down effect. You're removing one person, but that person is doing a lot more than you really think when that person is removed household, when you think of it. So saying things, going and vote about it, you got to think about the effects that it's going to have. One of the things that I see here with coping with the post-election anxiety, because right now everybody, many people that have anxiety right now, anxiety, anger, they're hopeless, they feel like you know what I was what was going to happen is not going to happen anymore, and we don't know what's going to happen. So in that mind frame of I don't know what's going to happen, you're going to create areas in your head. So again, your mental health is going to be affected because you're thinking the wheels are turning, and those wheels are turning, but they're not going anywhere. So one of the things that I want the young people, and much on the young people, is that they can reach out to others. Safe spaces to allow them to say what they have, release it, because they're around fear, they're carrying around anger, and they're carrying around hopelessness. Didn't have coping skills, let go, say what you want to say, release it, paint it, journal it, just because it will hurt if you don't have what you want to really say. Thing for after, again, here comes again self-care. After practice self-care going forward, because it is very important. When you get up on mornings, you can't be filled with anxiety like, oh, I'm going out on the road today, I'm going outside. You cannot live your life like that for the next 4 years. You cannot. And not only creating safe space, but listening to people, listening to your children, because your children go to school, they watch news. Some of us have the opportunity to shut the news off. In school, these kids don't have the opportunity to shut the news off, and they're in the lunchroom and they're seeing the news, or they free classes, the news is on, and what are they going to do? They're listening to this. So your kids are coming home and they're asking questions. Don't shun them, listen, because these little ones, you think that they don't understand, but they do. So sit them down, have a moment, and listen to what they're saying. They can help you. My daughter, she's the one who sent me back to school. Why don't you go study psychology? Because you seem to help people a lot. My friends like you, so go study psychology. Be a what do you tell me? Be an advisor. So I listened to her and I went back to school. My profession was IT. I love fixing things and building computers. Here I am in psychology, because when she said that to me, I was like, that's interesting. Maybe that's something I can do. So listen to, we are old and we are in our own space, and we go like, oh, the young people don't know anything, but sit and just listen. Sometimes I tell you are like, wow. They're wow, and they open up your mind to another world. So listen to them. And the last thing that I have is avoid overextending yourself. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Do not go out of your way to please or help others if you cannot. It's also, this falls back into self-care. If you're not feeling well,
Can
go
you say
on.
that again for the people in the back? Can you say that again for the people in the back?
Self-care. If you do not feel well and you don't get up and do anything you want to do, you no the right to say no. And people always look at no as something bad, but it's not. For your self-care, you can say no. You don't even have to explain yourself. Go explaining why we say you don't have to. Yes, okay, yes, I'm coming to your party, but no, it's just no. And you got to stop it. So all these things, all these tips lead up to one major thing: self-care. Post-election and over information. The first, both of these are in both of those things. Self-care, first and foremost. So I wanted to share that being a coach, as a coach, when we're dealing with the team who've lost hope, one of the things we can do is go back to the goals. Go back to those goals that we set in the beginning and revisit them. Some of the goals you haven't met because, again, hope was lost, but it can be found again, because all you need to do is find that motivation. And like my daughter and like you said, Coach Nikita, find that motivation, that purpose. And once you find that purpose, you can set back goals. You can set the goals right back. And if you need help, we got 3 coaches. Set those goals back.
And you know what?
Start from the
Now,
top.
especially, oh, I'm sorry. Now, especially, is the perfect time to dive into self-discovery and self, because it's the perfect distraction. It's not just like, oh, let me just go turn on the TV and get distracted, or let me just go
No.
bowling. It's really working on yourself, working on the
Yeah.
things that you want to work on, and then just focusing on that. And by the time you know the 4 years are over, I started my journey, my self-care journey during COVID. And like you, I listened to my kids. They was like, girl, you need a hobby. I was like, oh, no. And I found my nail life, so you have to, get outside your comfort zone and then just pay no attention to what's going on in the world and focus on self.
Yes. Hope satisfaction of life. That's what hope does. And I think when young people are looking for that, or even when you're looking for a better satisfaction to life, it starts with hope. You hope that this looks good. You hope that you get a new job. You hope that somebody helps you to build. You hope that, your education, you can extend your education. You hope that your business is thriving. So that's what gives us that purpose of life. When we hope for things, it gives you that purpose. And once you have that purpose, you are motivated to not stop. So in this time that we're in, motivate yourself in the groups that you're in. Even if you don't belong to a group, find a group that's like-minded with the things that you like. Find that group. And once you get motivated, the next 4 years, trust me, you can do like wonderful things. Build a business, do something, do back, and worry about the what ifs or cut ifs. Hope, purpose, motivate.
That's it. That's absolutely it. And as you were talking about hope, the old saying came to mind: hope springs eternal.
Yes.
Hope can be renewed over and 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 over again, just like your car registration. It can
Yes.
be renewed, right? And
Yes.
to mimic what you shared, Marisol, I started Tilted Halo Broadcast Media Entertainment LLC during the pandemic, during the shutdown, sitting in that room, taking these classes, trying to figure out how to use Canva, because since, the STEMI only went so far, I couldn't pay people to make graphics for me. So I had to learn how to make my own graphics. I learned how to build websites. I published a chapter in a book. The hope was rising up in me, even though I had lost my mother at the height of the pandemic. And some of y'all have heard the story, but the way my mother and I used to communicate when she was on this side of heaven was very interesting. Okay. She was one of my best friends and one of my biggest supporters. So imagine me sitting in the room, missing her, trying to do something, but getting stuck. I could hear her talking straight shady to me. I can't repeat some of the things my mom used to say to me, but she knew how to light a fire under her baby girl's tail. And so I would do the thing that I'm now doing. I'm living in my purpose. And part of my purpose, I've come to truly embrace because I've known it for a long time. I'm here to teach. I'm here to encourage. I'm here to uplift. And I find my purpose in doing that, even when I'm going through some of the hardest seasons of my life. And you can attest to this, Rhonda. You blew my edges back a little bit when I once heard you describe me as one of the happiest people you've ever met in your life. Because I stay somewhere bugging. Y'all don't even know the half. Anyway. One of the happiest people, but the deal was I was very intentional about choosing my superpower of joy, no matter what. My hope springs joy. Does that make any sense? My hope springs encouragement. There are so many reasons I have to be hopeful as opposed to being sad at the loss of my mother. I look at it this way. Had my mama not decided to leave me when she did, would I be Tilted Halo that I am now? Would any of you all, my identified tribe, my self-identified tribe, would any of you all be walking alongside me in this wonderful journey we're embarking on together? Had I not held on to my purpose and hope? Y'all know I love me some God, all right? And the Holy Spirit is always welcome here on this platform. And I'm grateful for the impartation of faith that I walk around here with, because our lights are different. Marisol, your light is different. Rhonda, your light is different. Eliana, your light is different and very necessary, princess. Very necessary. What you don't know is when I started broadcasting Baby Girl, my baby girl used to join me on the platform because I believe in giving young people safe spaces to express themselves, because I know what it was once like for me, a young lady who didn't necessarily feel comfortable in forming her words to express how I was feeling, because I had been bogged down with so much of life's trauma. I done been through the fire, and I'm so glad I ain't come out smelling like smoke. God really does give us beauty for ashes. Y'all know I still got my edges, you know what I'm saying? I'm so happy about that. Because I could have lost them all with some of the things that I've walked through. In very recent years, one of my very good friends reminds me that I have a natural tendency to be walking through all of the hell and not saying nothing to nobody, just coming out with a clean face shining. And they don't know anything until I come back and share the testimony of what God did for me this time. What's up, Marisol?
And I think that that's why sometimes people, just to give you another point of view, is that sometimes that's why people are haters, because the light shines so bright they can't stand it.
Lord have mercy. Look, I need
and that's why. But you gotta have the good with the bad. It's like what you said, it's a balance. Because if you have good all the time, how would you know what you're capable of if everything is so easy? What would you know that you're capable of doing anything?
Exactly. They say that necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of this, look, all of this happened out of necessity, okay?
The bare
This,
necessities. Dun, 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 dun.
this all happened out of necessity. Okay, I needed a creative way to release what I was feeling, to
Yes.
embrace people when I could not leave the house. That was wild times when it was illegal to hug somebody. So
Mhm.
I'm grateful for some of the digital mentors I encountered over the last 4 years who helped me hone this gift called the World Wide Web that can be used to cause so much change for the good as opposed to the bad. So I'm going to turn this conversation right now. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and say thank you to those of you who joined us on tonight. You're listening to Unhinged Live, R2K. And I bet y'all wondering, where is the other K? All right.
Yeah.
She's been communicating with us this entire time. I know you all look forward to Coach Cash joining us on these here airways, but y'all know she and I always have those production conversations behind the scenes. And the two of you, Rhonda and Marisol, thank you so much for hopping on tonight, because we preparing y'all for something bigger. Mhm. We preparing both of y'all for something bigger, but we're gonna get into that something else down the line. You already know. That's right, Marisol. Dance it out. Dance it out. So yeah, I want to go ahead and turn this conversation in just a little bit because we got about a
Mhm.
half hour left, and hopefully, Coach Cash will be able to hop on after she gets settled, to go ahead and give us my weekly reflection of purpose, so I ain't got to starve spiritually for a week. You got any more of the reflections of purpose? Y'all don't want me walking around the town looking like that, so y'all just pray, Coach Cash. Don't run into no problem that
She'll be.
would stop her from hopping on at 8:20. So listen, my question now is, we've talked about some of the things that we've heard, some of the things that we've experienced. Um, what do you see yourself in a new space for in the next 4 years?
So can I say, the question is for anybody, right? So
All of us.
I think it's gonna be like the COVID situation. So where we thought maybe all these terrible things were gonna happen, maybe if we're in the right mental space, it won't feel as bad, and we could devise a plan on how to, change things, even if you can't change things nationwide, but you could just change it in your own space, in your own community. I'm feeling like if it's gonna be a COVID situation where some people made it and then some people didn't.
Mhm. Good
So
to
we'll see.
hear.
I know that I'm gonna be investing. Y'all better invest.
Ali, you want to go or you want me to go? All right. I think for me, my plan is to continue what I'm doing, mentoring, coaching, and being there for the young people, because a lot of us don't have the skills to take in certain and make it positive. So most of my posts, social media is going to be keep with a positive, because I don't have negative stuff on my social. So making sure that I am doing what I'm supposed to for the young people, because they're the ones who are going to be affected in some way, and we need to be making sure that they're okay. So nothing is going to change. Build my brand, build my business, more networking, and just keep him active, because we have to, like I said, we need a purpose. And once we're in that of having purpose, everything, I don't I don't want to look into the negative aspect of it. I said if we need to join groups and advocate for what's right, because society has a way of changing and deviating, and we that know right from wrong need to stand up. And my thing, Bob Marley, stand up. So as long as we know that something is not right, we need to look for it. Yes, I was part of the kitty cat. Me and my daughter were part of the kitty cat parade. So she tells me, "Mommy, yeah, we're gonna go. Combat boots, and we're gonna go fight for what's right." We're all these are things that we have to hold dear to us and the younger generation, the generation yet to others before us paved the way for us.
Well,
Others,
let me know when you guys are marching because I'm there.
yes, others paved the way for us. And I feel like we need to pave the way for the others that are coming up so they don't have to go through. As long as we leave things in a way for them to be protected, I feel that's what we need to do. We can't sit back. Don't sit back and go like, oh, there's nothing I can do. There is always something for you to do. Mara says is going to go in politics. I vote for her. So all we need to keep us and purpose, motivate. I'm not stopping in that sense. I don't know if it's going to change later on because the things that we can change and there's other things we can't change. And the things we can't change, we can't worry about those. So that's mine. Aliana.
So for me, in terms of like a space I see myself like now existing in, it's kind of a combination of what we've been talking about tonight. Like I really am trying to focus on like my life and my growth. Like I need to get a job. So that's very much what I'm focusing on, especially because the jobs I'm more of looking towards are environmental. So I'm very much focused on like getting a job and really pushing through with that. I know there's been a little bit of talks about concerns on a federal level about environmental protection. So on the
Mhm.
state and possibly local level, continuing with that just to make sure that that's always a part of conversations. I also want to grow in terms of knowledge, so being more knowledgeable about things so that I can properly advocate and support communities. My mom and I, we have a scholarship at one of the local high schools, so I want to continue with that and possibly like have that grow over the next 4 years. And that's just, I guess, my whole thing of like grassroots. So really building a strong community so we can educate each other, and hopefully by educating each other and having that strong community in 4 years when we have to make this decision again, people are thinking more critically and they're more knowledgeable about the decision that they're making.
Look at you. Oh,
I'm so glad you
Karen.
brought it up, Allie. I'm so glad that you brought it up because I had so many. Hey, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, Allie. It's a whole Coach Cash sighting. Hold on.
What? Look at her flower, girl. You are always popping.
Good to see you all. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully it's not too much of the background noise. Y'all know I'm traveling, so that that's my entire statement. Because
Yeah,
I
we read that.
dropped all of the kiddies off, and they're like, "Where you going?" Bye. I'll see y'all in the morning. Anybody got time for that? But I've been watching the show, so this is a different experience for me. Okay, to see you all doing wonderful things and be able to say, "Look at the beauties on the screen doing amazing things."
Well, thank you, Coach Cash, and look at you and your beautiful self. Oh, we're so happy that you were able to join us. But
Yes.
young Miss Booth, can you share with us a little bit more information about your scholarship program? Because I was so excited when I saw the post from your last scholarship presentation. Share with us the listeners and the viewers about the scholarship.
So the one that we have at the local high school, so that one, it's called the Booth Family Limitless Dream Scholarship. It started, yeah, it actually was prompted because of COVID. So I had a lot of trouble getting scholarships. It made me kind of lose my confidence, essentially, because I was like, why do I not deserve a scholarship? College is like college is expensive. And some of the scholarship requirements were very specific, and that kind of, I guess, helps with them not having too many candidates, but then it also is limiting. And especially if so many scholarships go to waste, I feel like that's not helpful in general. So with the scholarship that we have, it's a very easy like essay prompt where I just want students to kind of reflect on themselves. So the prompt is like, what is a dream that you would like to accomplish if there was no limitations, no financial limitation, nothing like that? And a part of that is not only that they would take the time to reflect on themselves and who they are as a high school student, but realize that there's no limit to what they can accomplish. And hopefully that they would take that and take their dream with them through college because college is a very hard, it's hard, college is hard. So hopefully they take that with them and that's their motivation is that they can reflect on this dream that even if they don't accomplish that dream, but go somewhere else, that they do have this like light and this fire inside of them that they were passionate about something and they can take that with them. So that's that scholarship. Definitely over time I want to like expand it, have a bigger like fund for it, make it be a lot larger, possibly turn it into like a foundation thing. I just have ideas. But like I do want it to just reflect and be accessible to all students. A part of it is that we look at the scholarship essay. I don't really take into consideration extracurriculars and stuff like that because it's just to make it more open. I look at the scholarship and the quality of the essay. Because if there is a student who last minute decided that they want to change their life and go to college, and they want a little bit of support, but they weren't really involved in high school, I don't want that to be a limitation that they weren't involved in high school, so they can't get the scholarship. It's like if you make a good essay, it's like okay, I wish you the best, and I'm happy to support you. So that's that scholarship. We're kind of small right now, but I'm hopeful that it will expand in the future.
As you see, I'm grinning. You see all my little Cheshire cat over here
You,
going on.
you, church finger, church
Yes,
finger.
ma'am.
You, you know I'm over here because one, I'm just I'm beaming with pride right now. You know, Rhonda, we officially adopted your daughter, so just know that. But if you could tell us a little bit how people can support you financially, so how can people give a couple of dollars to support the initiative that you have?
I cannot answer that question because that's a financial question, and that goes on my mother and my father. Um,
I love it.
so she will share that on her Instagram, I guess.
I
That's how
love
she
it.
will.
The benefactors, yes.
Right now, Karen, because we started on our own from 2020, I think we've had one donation from one of when you first started it. She was so excited. She sent us a check. So we don't like basically we just was receiving wanted to donate to it and then my daughter was
Right.
sending a thank you letter. So
Yeah.
that's the next say she want to make it bigger or a foundation. So that's the part she want to start with. Last year, we were only giving one student, and I think last year was the first time we were able to give two students scholarships. It
Beautiful.
was a male and female, correct? Young girl. And one of the things she reads the essays because I get a little too strict. So she reads them because I said I'm going to remove myself from that because I would pick too much. So she's the one who reads it and I write the checks.
I get it. I
Um,
love it. I love it.
there was a young lady that she kind of like, I wished I could have done more for her. She's a young lady that her sister raised her and she really wanted to go college. And when Ali read the essay and she told me about it, because I said, give me the, and she read she read it to me and I was like, she needs to go. She needs to go.
Awesome.
This area,
Awesome.
this
Awesome.
she's just gonna stay in this little small and she's gonna get a job and she'll never have that dream to go to college. So the little bit could get books, could help her with even pocket money while she's maneuvering the new her new her new surroundings or supplies.
Absolutely.
So like she said, it came from a part where she wouldn't afforded the scholarships, and we realized a lot of American people of color weren't receiving scholarships because we go to all these award nights, and where are we? And
Yeah.
if we're supposed to be helping each other, why are more people like us helping all these students who want
Right.
to go to college?
Right. Right.
College,
Well,
but
I appreciate you sharing that because, Tilted, you already know I'm geeking over here. I'm like, say what? We got 1,000 people in this arena that I'm in, and I don't care nothing about them because the focus is on how can we build and grow. Education being one of the avenues where we get to build generational wealth, right? And create
yeah,
legacy for our families. And so, I know you all have been talking about coaches, but that's where that goal success comes from. As I'm coming in the final hour, just so super excited about the foundation that you all have laid with the conversations that you've had about mentorship, about being able to financially support our communities, because back in the day, that's how we sent the kids off to school. It wasn't the parents that sent them, it was the community that sent those kids off to school so that they could come back with more knowledge, being able to do more, and being able to create impact. So I'm just geeking out over here. I'm done.
No, you're not. But listen, I gotta add to what you said. It really was the communities that rallied around and made sure
Yeah.
that we made it to school. Remember them house parties where they charged $5 to get in the house?
Oh yeah.
All that
Yep.
money went to one person at the end of the night. Remember them fish fries?
Yes.
It was not always a rent party. Sometimes it really was a tuition
That's
party.
right. That's right.
Um, Even if it wasn't tuition, it was like, let's go ahead and deck out Junior's room in his college dorm. He's the first in his family and his bloodline to go to college. So we are definitely going to be keeping up with you, young lady, and finding unique ways where Unhinged Live, your new aunties and your Uncle Bliv can come and alongside you and support you in your limitless dreams. You are an inspiration, young woman. You have inspired, I think, every last one of us here on the panel on tonight. Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. And this is coming from a 50 some odd year old dreamer. I'm a queen ager over here, and I am still dreaming, and I'm running as fast as my old knees will allow me to, chasing every dream, because again, I know my purpose. And because I know my purpose, I'm trying to pour out as much as I can, before I go get to see my mama again, if that makes any
Cool.
sense. So check it out, Coach Cash.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Now you got to hear us talk about our thoughts and our feels in this
Yes.
week post election.
Yes.
Um, do you have any thoughts to share before I ask you to switch your hat, and give me my reflections of purpose? Because I'm need my nuggets. My stomach's
Oh
starting.
yeah. Oh yeah. We got the nuggets. You all hit a lot of wonderful points, and I want to say thank y'all for holding it down, right? Because each of us has this point where we have to figure out how we shifting our lives, right? So I love you all talking about how to prevent the information overload, how to not divorce your family during this holiday season. How about that? Hello. Um, I don't want to say that I'll add anything, but I really have been enriched by the conversation that you all have had tonight, because I think it's important for us to understand our reasons why we need to stay connected, right? So day after, if you didn't make a call, it's not too late for you to make those calls to check in on your people. Because one thing here's the thing that I found that was really stark on both sides. The younger folks may not know how to process all of these feelings. So that's what makes this conversation so important right now. This feels like the end of the world. But then they see people like us who we've been thriving. This is not our first time on the struggle bus, so we know where the GPS is trying to take us, and we get to decide whether we want to go that route or take another route, right? And then also our older generation, those who are our parents and our grandparents, because they've been holding on to hope so long. This looks like hope is thwarted. But we know that not only is God able, but we've seen God do some miraculous thing in impossible times. And so we want to hold on to the impossible, the limitless dreams. Like I promise you, I love that because it all ties in. When we got a limitless dream, right? As soon as I heard the name of the scholarship, there was something that bubbled up inside of me like, wait a minute now, wait a minute. But that's how we have to have that tenacity to know, right, Marisol? We are the future authors. We are the future business owners. We are the legacy that our children will be coming behind. And I tell you, the reason why I'm so excited to see the Booth family here tonight is because this is a reminder for us, right? Of how we need to be setting our roots no matter what comes. There are certain digits in our family that we got to make sure it's solid all the way. And it doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing. All right, I'm going to stop talking because we got to get into our reflections. But I appreciate y'all.
Can I say something? So
Yes,
I remember when Ronald Reagan was president, and so we survived all those presidents. We're gonna be all right. We just gotta
we're going to
figure
be all
out
right.
what's the next plan of action, and we're in the works with that. So a little bit of rest is good, and then move on.
That's it. Go ahead, like Jay-Z said, go on and brush your shoulders off. It's
That's it.
okay. Go on, brush your shoulders off. After you get finished brushing them off, and a little dust, a little something, maybe some dandruff, get you some head and shoulders, take care of all that. And then once you get finished doing all that, throw them shoulders back.
That's it.
And
And adjust
remember
that
who you are.
crown. Adjust that
That's it.
crown.
That's right. Remember who you are. Wait, hold up. Got a little dent in mine right now, but it's okay. It's curly girl
Come on.
problem. Remember who you are, because
Beautiful.
you are a chosen people, a holy nation, a royal priesthood. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. You are a lender, never a borrower. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams. And I can imagine when our ancestors were dreaming, they didn't see us acting out of character,
Mhm.
to bring defamation to our varying cultures. They saw us blazing trails that they themselves couldn't even imagine. So here we are, the legacy you spoke of, Karen,
Mhm.
having this conversation tonight. Who would have thought the little immigrant girl would be sitting here with a master's degree in psychology, sharing a platform with her well educated, well spoken offspring, her daughter, who's encouraging those in her reach to dream limitlessly? Who would have thought
Yes.
that when we were um, shut down globally, that this little Taino girl would find her passion in nails and encourage so many of us to do special things with glow in the dark nail polish every now and again. Y'all got to go back and catch that episode. All right. I'm gonna have to let her tell y'all that. Go on, get in contact with Girl Talk Nails. Who would have thought
Yes.
that this little child, who some would refer to as motherless, a foster child, for the majority of my childhood, who would have thought that I would be sitting here amongst such greatness, standing in my purpose, making sure that we mimic our brother Kendrick Lamar and encouraging our listeners. Listen, we gonna be all right. Oh, hey, we gonna be all right. Listen, I can't play it tonight because copyright infringement is a thing, and I ain't got no permission, and I don't want Facebook or YouTube to come for me. There was another song that I wanted to play tonight. Y'all know my favorite album of all time is Stevie Wonder, Songs in the
Mm,
Key of Life. And
yes.
I really wish I had an inside connection to Stevie. But I'm gonna give y'all some homework before I toss the mic to Coach Cash. Do your homework. I need y'all, since we not pushing the button on the show tonight. Go on and take a listen to Stevie Wonder's Love's in Need of Love.
Oh, that's good.
That's the song I wanted to play tonight, but I didn't want Stevie and
Yeah.
them camp to come.
No,
I know he can't
no.
necessarily come for me because he can't necessarily see on how to get here. But his people can find me, and I don't need them kind of problems. All right. Listen, y'all already know what it is. This is Unhinged Live, R2K. And we've got some very special women sitting in with us tonight. Young Miss Booth is with us tonight, and our beauty royalty is sitting in with us on tonight, Miss Marisol. Prepare to see more of both of them, actually, um, in the very near future. So get ready, y'all. I've been talking a lot. Y'all been talking a lot. And like I said, I'm hungry and I need my nuggets. So without further delay, I want to go ahead and say, get at it, Coach Cash, with a reflection of purpose.
Love it, love it, love it. Listen, I promise you that in this time, y'all know I always come with the title, so let me just give you the title and we're gonna get right into it. Snatch them up. Snatch them up. Now I need you to sit with that thought right there. Snatch them up. Tonight I want to remind us that there are folks on both sides of the fence, right? We got some folks who know how to do some things, and then some folks who are literally right now in this season lost in the dark. I know it's getting dark early, so I could mean this figuratively as well as literally. It's already dark at 4:45, and we're trying to find the light for the way to go. We talked earlier, or you all talked earlier, about mentorship and how important that is in the lives of not just our young people, right? So I'm literally in New Orleans, Keita. I'm over here near the Superdome, but we ain't gonna tell the rest because I said what happened in New Orleans, stay in New Orleans. The people trying to correct me. I said, listen, wherever I am, whatever happened here, stay here. Don't you start nothing. But the important thing for us when I because there are people who don't know the way. Their children, they are our parents and our grandparents, and they will stay stuck in a dream that they don't see the vision for. But as visionaries, it is our assignment to snatch them up. Why? Because they may not know which way to go, but you better get your Harriet Tubman on. And you know, the one thing I tell my children, my grandchildren about Harriet Tubman that always blow their mind, you know, she had a gun, right? This wasn't just a, okay, well, we're gonna be on the sidelines and waiting for stuff to happen. Snatch them up and teach them how to survive. Snatch them up and teach them how to get out of those moments of depression. Snatch them up and teach them how to start their businesses and to create legacy. Tonight we were introduced to Mrs. Booth, to Miss Booth, our young Booth, in a tremendous way, right? Just her sharing her passion, her vision, and she know her lane. Can I just tell you that made me chuckle? Know your lane in this season. You don't have to do it all. She like, that is not my job. That is the parentals. You go ahead and you talk to them. Know that you got people around you that want to support you. There's a testament in that one sentence that you said that I trust. I have people around me who I trust with this thing that I'm birthing. And also knowing that in that mentorship, in that togetherness, in that snatching them up, we not only save ourselves, but we save the next generation, y'all. Regardless of what happened between the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and now the 2020s. We know one thing for certain: community always wins. So make sure you're going into your communities. And as our sister Marisol said, we're taking a few minutes to breathe and then we're going to get back at it. Why? Because it's the work that's going to make the difference. And who are the people who are going to do the work? It's you, it's me, it's us writing our testimony, telling our stories, and making sure that the legacy that we're building for our families are not just for us, but for the entire community. And that is how we change a nation. Snatch them up, y'all. That's your reflections of purpose.
And the Lord said, "Let thy be snatched."
Body
That
snatching.
part.
The body snatching.
I love it.
And
I
the
love
Lord
it.
said, "Let thou be snatched." Now we've been saying that for the last couple of months. You know, I birthed that out my mouth around my birthday time because I was snatcheth on my birthday. So we are just adding yet another definition to the purpose in God telling us, let thou be snatched. Let y'all be snatched up with hope. Let thou be snatched up with purpose. Let thou be snatched up with vision. And just be in the middle of it all. Just be mindful to stay in your lane. Does that make any sense? I don't think
Yes.
I need to
Yes, it
say anything.
does.
It makes
I
a
don't
lot of
think I need to
sense.
say anything else because y'all some critical thinkers. Go on and
Yeah.
fill in your own personal blanks on that one. And if you don't know your lane, I know somebody that we often refer to as Jehovah. I call him
Yes.
Abba because he really is a father to me. But if you don't know your purpose, ask God. He freely gives. All you got to do is ask. So for those of you who were caught up in that muckery, as you were growing up, being taught that you're not supposed to question God,
Mm.
I beg to differ. Because if I didn't question God, I would have never received the blueprint for Unhinged Live. So it's your girl Keita, Coach Keita, Tilt a Halo out here in these internet streets. And I'm sitting alongside a couple of my very good girlfriends, Coach Cash, Coach Rhonda, and political dynamo Marisol, and the young Miss Eliana Booth. Thank you again for lending your powerful voice to tonight's roundtable conversation. I am tremendously blessed, and I might have to take a little painkiller to ease the achiness that's happening in my cheek from smiling so hard on tonight. You are
You
a blessed.
definitely made a bright spot today for sure.
Uh-huh. Go ahead, sunshine. And maybe if I get to see you face to face, I want to talk to you about that time you had went back home and put on the costume and was out there doing the way big with your mama. All right, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Lord have mercy.
That is mental health, wellness.
And being snatches, all right? This is
Snatch them up.
Yes.
and being
Snatch them up.
Listen, we're gonna be healthy, we're gonna be wealthy, and we're gonna be wise.
Yes,
lifetime
we'll
Love
have
it.
a
kindness do
trip.
not
Don't worry, we'll
told.
have a trip. We'll have a trip to Barbados. We'll
Oh
have a
Lord,
trip
Let's
to
go.
Barbados.
they don't want to let us loose in Barbados.
Mm-mm.
They can barely let us loose in Eastern Pennsylvania. What they gonna do with us out
No,
the country?
you'll be fine.
Woo.
You'll be fine. What
I'm
happens in
ready.
Barbados
I'm
stays in
ready.
Barbados.
I'm ready. I'm
I'm
ready.
ready,
Yep.
passport ready. Let's go. So thank you all for tuning in. And if you enjoy what you heard on tonight, there's plenty more conversations like this. Go
Yes.
ahead and check us out on one of our several platforms. We out here, we syndicating ourselves, y'all. Again, we grassrooting it too. We're building and creating our own lanes. Why? Because God told us to. We're Unhinged Live. And ladies, it's a wrap. Until next week, y'all.